Are we ready?
Yeah, we are ready whenever. Ready whenever. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what are words. Right. There will be no comedy cold open on this week's episode because fun has been cancelled.
No fun.
So yeah, hello everyone. Welcome back to the grand old world of UnCapt. I'm Phil, and as ever, I am joined by Lloyd and Dale, and we are here to talk about games and have very unprofessional opinions about things. This week, there's not one specific subject as such. We're going to talk around quite a few different things that have been happening in the news and all that sort of stuff. And obviously, we'll talk about what we've been playing as well. But in a slight change of first thing we're going to talk about, which if you've subscribed to YouTube, if you're a good little boy and you've subscribed to our YouTube channel, you'll have seen some of this already. But the W.A.S.D or W.A.S.D Expo as part of the London Games Festival is from the 7th to 9th of April, and we are giving away 2 free 3-day passes for one lucky winner. So check out the video, expertly made by our own Mr. Lloyd, who tells you all about what you need to do. Subscribe to the channel and comment on that video, and you have the chance to win. And other than that, if you don't want to win, or if you fear you might not, and you still want to go along, you can also get discounts by when you go to the checkout using discount code UnCapt22. Because we have discount codes now. Well, that's a thing.
Professionals.
So, I mean, I think obviously there's lots of stuff to be excited about in W.A.S.D in general, and loads of different talks and interesting areas, loads of games on display and stuff like that. But I think probably in terms of being excited ahead of time, you probably got ahead of the game there, Lloyd, because it's mostly indie stuff.
Yeah, they got their own. They got their curio section, which has got loads of indie games, and there's still like loads more to be announced and stuff as well. So I'm like excited to see what's there. And then I think there's a couple of like there's 2 Point Campus, which some say is an indie game, some say it's not, but it is published by Sega. So I don't but I can't wait for that either. There's just loads I'm excited for to go on and play. And then we got all the industry talks as well. On top of that, how to get into industry. If that's your sort of cup, if you want to get in as well, go along to them, because from what I've seen, there's some wonderful people chatting and some experienced heads. So it's gonna be good, and it'll be nice to meet people as well again. Like I miss. We went to EGX back in 2019, and I'm quite excited to kind of get back and talking to the devs and the community managers and whoever else may be there. So yeah, I can't wait.
Good stuff. Lots coming up. And there was something specific I was going to say in relation to something specific you said, and now both of those things have gone out my head. So I'm not going to. So instead, we'll just segue past my unprofessionalism there, and we will go on to our usual starting segment and talk about what we've been playing in the past week. So, you want to kick off there, Dale?
I can. Elden Ring. It's same answer from last week. It's going to be the same one from this week. Wait,
Possibly
that doesn't
next
make
week.
sense. I'm probably not. No, I don't know. I'm from what I can tell, I'm only a few bosses away now from finishing, which is exciting. And I'm quite sad actually, because I've really enjoyed the experience. So it's a very good game. Very frustrating game. I ended stream yesterday with me lining up perfectly for a boss, getting ready, getting in, and then running straight off the side of the map. And my hands were literally just like, come on, Dale. It's the end now. You're not going to kill this. It's going to beat you. Let's just chill. Stop this. So, yeah, that's me. I've got an itch to play more FPS because I've been playing a lot of single player games. So I'd imagine next week there may be a FPS game thrown in there for good measure. So yeah, that's me.
There's definitely a thing, I think, particularly on stuff that's like hard or a bit tricky. where you reach a certain point where your body won't correspond with what your mind knows you need to do, and then like you try like 300 times, and then it just get the better, and then you come up with it fresh the next day and do it in one go.
Yeah, that's happened a few times, but like yeah, it's really strange. Like, I like those type of games. Yeah, it's nice to take a break. You need to take a break. It's mentally taxing. I found that with stuff like Monster Hunter as well, especially when you're hunting really hard things and it gets to you. You need to just
You're constantly thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I should have done this, and then you hyper focus on the thing that you messed up on, and then you forget like your fundamentals, and it just all breaks down, you know. Yeah, yeah. That's literally my week. That's all I've done. I haven't really gained much outside of streaming. Time's been a bit tight this week, so yeah, it's not a particularly big gaming week, which is a shock for me. I don't really come with I haven't been gaming much, so this is a new week for me.
Is this the start of your retirement? You wind down.
This is I'm winding down. I'm gonna start playing just like Tetris constantly and Sudoku and stuff. I'm done now. Can't be bothered. As soon as I finish Elden Ring, I've basically completed gaming, so I'm done. You know.
And what about yourself, Lloyd?
So obviously I haven't been very well over the weekend. I've had a bit of a cold, so I've been having the man flu in bed, laying down, trying to rest up. So I tried to play a bit of the Switch when I was awake for a few hours, and I played a bit of Inside. And then I returned to my gaming chair yesterday afternoon, and I tried to play Tunic. Not for me. It looks really cool. The graphics are cute, and like it does a lot. So it kind of tries to like hinder your like directions and stuff, but making everything in like an alien language sort of thing. But yeah, it like I ended up with the stick for half a game and just kept dying, and I was just like, yeah, nah. So I went on to Guardians of the Galaxy though. I started that yesterday. That looks like a good game now. It looks like it's gonna be great. So funny. The voice acting kind of puts me off a bit, but yeah. The combat though, I love the combat. It's really fun. So you get to like take control of Star-Lord, and then you get to like tell Groot, Gamora, and Drax what to do and stuff, and they've all got like special powers. But it's just really nice to see, like really smooth, and yeah, big fan so far.
Cool.
Can't wait to play more.
Is the voice acting is that like a disconnect from like, you know, they don't sound like the people on the films, or is it something else?
Something else. Groot's fine. Like Groot, I think you could do Groot in any voice and he'll be fine. But I think Drax actually sounds okay, and Rocket, but Star-Lord just annoys me a bit. And like there's like certain things that you could just see in there, and yeah, it just doesn't do it for me. I don't know. It just got in my skin. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a subconscious thing of it's not Chris Pratt, and it needs to be Chris Pratt.
How is it from a comic book fan perspective?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. So it's like, yeah, it's very much kind of a lot more based on the MCU sort of Guardians than the comics, but yeah, it's really cool. There's a lot of like, there is quite a bit of chemistry between the teams and stuff. So it's so far it's so good. And seeing I don't like the Nova outfits. That's the one thing. They're too blue, way too blue.
Oh,
yeah, it annoys me a bit. Yeah.
Note to game devs: don't make things blue.
I like blue. I like blue. Like my, but yeah, it's just too blue. Yeah, nah. And they got these like really annoying things that kind of come on. I'm just like, yeah, nah. And then,
well, I mean, obviously, the most important thing about any video game is the fashion critique.
Yeah, yeah. But Guardians are my favorite comic book heroes, so I'm not too fussed if it was like, I don't know, Batman or something than the Spider-Man. Maybe we'd be moaning a bit more, but yeah, I'm enjoying it so far, and I want to play more now. I think I'm on like chapter 4 or 5. So, and there's about 15, I think.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
How about you, Paul?
Well, I was going to, as for myself, last night I was playing Uncharted Lost Legacy. So I've just made a start on that. I've never played that before, so that's kind of brand new on me. I mean, I say brand new. It's an Uncharted game, and they all pretty much play the same way in broad strokes. So, because it was originally released as DLC, it was originally intended as DLC for Uncharted 4, so it basically plays in the same way, and then it kind of expanded to become its own game. But so that's a lot of fun. There's I've reached a bit where like it's a quite linear game, but there's like this open world section I've just reached where you've got like the map, where it's not like a map you press and it goes in your inventory. It's like you press the button and like the character opens the physical map in front of you and then like marks things off in pen as you go past them and stuff, which is quite intriguing. And it's because they did the same thing in The Last of Us 2, like for one section as well. So that's obviously where that's come from. But yeah, so it's going all right. It's going interesting. Other than that, I've been playing Tormented Souls still, which is gearing up. I think I'm very close to the end now because I've been playing it very slowly, but like in sort of 1 hour chunks every so often when I've had like a little bit of time. That's very good. Last thing, I've just been like being chased around by this weird, like slightly floaty guy who looks like with weird sort of lots of folds of skin just started to appear in different corridors and chasing me around, which is an interesting break from the usual the guys in the wheelchairs with spikes on their hands, or the guys on like on those medical stand things whose spikes shoot out the body and things like that. It's very grotesque and spooky and like lots of scares. So you'd love it, Dave. Obviously,
I'd hate it. I'd hate it. Let's be fair.
But yeah, that, and then other than that, still trophy hunting on The Last of Us. Yeah, I think they're the three things I've been playing mainly. So that's keeping me going. It's keeping me alive.
Keeping me alive. The copium, man. The copium.
Yeah. Well, it's been. I had to go to Liverpool over the weekend, so I didn't do any gaming, and I also had to endure transport for Wales for 4 or 5 hours each way. So,
Feel few.
any viewers or listeners outside of the UK or who've never experienced transport for Wales, count yourself lucky.
Very lucky.
Nicely, yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't say any more on that. So I mean, moving on to our first kind of big topic, there's been a couple of different announcements. Well, not all announcements, but we've recently had the teaser that there's going to be a new Witcher game from CD Projekt Red.
Let's go.
Which has got people very excited, even though there's no details whatsoever as of yet. But
don't need details. We don't need details.
This is the exact same thing that happened with Mass Effect. Everyone just starts fanfaring.
we got an image of a medallion that was confirmed to be a link.
Links, yeah. No longer there. So.
That's it. That's all we know.
So
let's go.
Is your knowledge of The Witcher entirely like, because I've seen the TV show on Netflix, I've not read the books, I've not actually played Witcher 3 either, so I don't know. Like, do you just know the game, or do you know from others say like what might be coming? Have either of you read the books?
I only know the game. No, I unfortunately I only know Witcher 3, and I know bits of 2, but that's about it.
Yeah, I'm like halfway through Witcher 3, so I'm hoping this will give me the nudge to actually get up and complete it now.
Should. It's so good.
No, I got it for free on GOG, so it sat there in my gathering dust on my memory, but I really need to complete it.
Yeah, it's always daunting. Obviously, if it's an open world, then like just to go like, oh yeah, I'll could play that, and then you're like, oh. That's going to be a lot of hours.
Yeah,
it does take a good chunk to finish them, but it's really, really worth it. Like, I honestly, hands on my heart, recommend you playing it. So good. Oh my lord.
Yeah, I
So-
think that's the thing. It's just like I kind of sit there. I'm like, I'm going to play this. I'm going to play this, and then I kind of come off it, and then I forget about it, and just never go back because I know it's gonna. It's kind of that run up to like the thousands of hours I'm probably going to put into it that I no longer have as a grown up. I want to be a child again.
Time's hard, man. Time's hard. Damn.
So, I mean, obviously the big question is like, given a CD Projekt Red and given that their last endeavor was Cyberpunk, which you've been in particular were quite outspoken about. Are you hopeful that they've learned the lessons and it's going to be better this time, or are you worried about
I
it?
hope so. Like, there's a part of me that's like, it's The Witcher. They're not gonna mess up The Witcher. Like, they can't, can they? They can't do that. They can't. Come on.
I think
But then there's another. What's that?
like the thing was with Cyberpunk, it was really their first thing into like FPS car driving sort of thing, and now we're going back to what they're proven to be good at. Yeah, so it's a touch wood.
But it's how much do you trust them after
Yeah.
that shambles, you know?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because no matter how much you turn around, like, oh well, they've patched it here, they've patched it there. Now, a game should work from day one. I'm sorry, it should. Like, there's no.
It shouldn't be groundbreaking.
No, it should work from day one. If it's at the end of the day, you're selling a product, right?
Yeah.
If it doesn't work from day one, then
you failed.
Practically a lie. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the whole cyberpunk stuff. You know.
But on a more positive note, where do you think the story's going to go now? Because it says a new saga. Do you think a lot of people are saying Siri?
I'm hoping they do Siri. Oh my!
Yeah.
I love Geralt. Don't get me wrong, but Siri is awesome. She is so good. That would be really good. But they probably have to keep Geralt in there.
Yeah. But considering it's a different medallion, though, I think it's gonna be a different lead character.
In the medallions, it's to do with. I'm pretty sure it's to do with the schools they study in, right? Like the. I suppose it's like I could be talking right out of my ass here, but I'm pretty sure it's something like I don't know. It's like you got the school of the bear, the school of the cat, the school of the wolf, and I'm pretty sure it's all different ways of fighting. So maybe it's like they're different, like I don't know, not martial arts, but they're different, like
the focuses.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure.
If we'd been better prepared and had connections that we actually don't have, we could have had Henry Cavill on as a guest, and as well as playing the character, he knows the lore and like behind him and everything.
I didn't pull my connections. Sorry, guys. I could. We tried to get Phil. Phil's a bit busy at the moment. Trying to get Bill Gates. I think the other week he's a little busy too. Henry's a little busy as well. I apologize. I did try though.
I think we'd all be a little bit fluttery if Henry Cavill was on it.
Yeah, a little bit starstruck. Like it's so beautiful.
Look at your
just
jaw.
Be like, is that granite or what? Can I touch? So like there's been the Witcher stuff, and then the other two things we've had in terms of like actual game stuff is the news from Ubisoft about how they're expecting to be able to use the cloud to make bigger open worlds and this sort of thing. Is that you say that before? That's mainly for multiplayer, Lloyd.
They said they want to look at like it's more for multiplayer. But they said they want to break free of like what they've done before. So they said in the article, Patrick Bach, I think I'm pronouncing that correct, said games are usually an iteration of what it has done before. We want to break free of that and build something big. How do you reimagine what games should be and what they could be in the future, and then start to build towards that to create new experiences? So it's
always reinventing the wheel. So we want to reimagine what video games could be. Like, just make a game, man. Come on.
Yeah, like Yeah, I mean the article that I read from Kotaku, the headline is great, where it's like Ubisoft threatens with bigger games, and it's like,
We don't need
stop, we
that.
don't need
Ubisoft, just
it.
chill.
I can't play the
5
games I
minutes.
got, man. Yeah. So, but yeah, they basically it's just so they're gonna have more computer power, and that's basically the idea behind it. So,
I suppose it'd be good. Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting.
it'll be interesting.
So
Especially
when
if
they
it's
say
multiplayer.
cloud, are they talking about like? Because I mean, obviously, with anything like that, it depends on players' internet connection anyway. Because which, depending on where you are in the world or in the country, can be a bit ropey anyway. But if you've got to rely on that, not just to like make sure you're connected to like a match or whatever, but to even generate the actual environment, that's
I'd imagine it'd still be a download. I'd imagine it'd still be data there to load the environment, wouldn't it? It'd just probably
Yeah.
mean
Yeah, it'll be
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it means they can. Sorry, maybe it means they can keep the game going. I haven't read the article, which I probably should before, but we all know how unprepared I can be. And maybe it means like they want to keep it more live servicey with these bigger games and keep like a story progressing over time. Maybe in the cloud means it's easier to
I think
do things.
I think it's
that's
more
not
about
particularly
hosting.
new though. I think that's why I was a bit confused about.
Yeah, so it's basically about increasing their power, and it says in the article that they want to be able to support larger numbers of online players at one time. So we're probably looking at, your battle royale sort of things and your MMOs and stuff more than anything.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, yeah.
So
but I'm just hoping
bigger
it
maps
doesn't.
and like with
Yeah,
I think it's more bigger
side
scope than
quests,
more
side quests per square mile than.
Yeah, yeah.
But you never know with Ubisoft because obviously
You never. I do have to say I would like to see Ubisoft use their talented teams to make something new. Something fresh.
100%. I would love a new IP.
Yeah, I'd love to
a
see
new
them
IP from them.
utilize them and
Because there's talent there. Like you look at the franchises that they have, like they're great. Like you can't deny that. They've still got Splinter Cell. They've got Assassin's Creed. They've got I don't know, can't remember off the top of my head, but like they've got so many. Far Cry. They've got so many great franchises.
They got Rabbids with Mario.
Rabbids, yeah,
don't forget them. Don't forget them. Remember they were a
Rabbids.
craze at one point. Damn,
Everyone loved them. Yeah.
they were like the minions at one point. Jeez.
But there's definitely like there's talent there, and I'm just kind of want it to be used in the right way rather than just sort of making a new Assassin's Creed.
You're making the new Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Congratulations! Yay!
Here's a blueprint. Who's a blueprint? Kind of just copy it and put a historical timestamp on it.
Use the game made. Just reskin things. They won't notice. Don't worry.
Yeah. I would like to see them because there's talent there, and it's like as much as I love to see sequels and stuff. And my Assassin's Creed is probably one of my favorite franchises. So, but
yeah, no, I mean it's cool. It excites me that it's more in the multiplayer space.
Sorry,
but like they released that battle royale, didn't they? What was their battle royale called? Ubisoft. Was it Ubisoft's Hyperscape?
Hyperscape, yeah.
People loved for like a day or two, and then it just disappeared. So
yeah.
I don't know. I can't see any trends that they're going to jump on outside of battle royales in the multiplayer space. So maybe it is genuinely going to be a new thing,
Touch wood.
And we've also had not news but more leaks about Apex Legends, and is it the next 3 years worth of game plots that they've basically been poured onto the internet?
2 years, yeah. So 2 years of content, including characters. I think even like rudimental. Is that the right word? Rudimental trailers and stuff like that, where they're obviously plotting out the story and things like that for these characters to come in and to make sense within each season. All leaked. All of it leaked. Which, I mean, it's interesting because as a gamer, you kind of like leaks because it's like, oh, look what's coming. But like, I don't know, 2 years feels a bit like, damn,
Takes away
man.
the excitement, doesn't it?
Yeah, like 6 characters. Just everything shown about them. I'm pretty sure we know everything, like their abilities, this, like all the new. Well, the one heirloom has been leaked, but 2 in total, and it's just I don't know. It's kind of one of those like I kind of feel for the devs and stuff because obviously they've set up this MCU-esque 2 years where everything's plotted out, all the seasons are ready, they know what's going, and it's exciting for the game because it's obviously it's a massive game now. It's an extremely successful battle royale. But it also shows that they're still just willing to be supporting as much as they can to have all this content ready, and yeah, it just 2 years, man. Just all released, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, as we know, even up to like the day of release, games can change dramatically in like lots of details. And I'm sure the same is true with live services. They're updating like if there's the furthest ones along are probably least finalized, so there's more likely to change. So it doesn't necessarily give a true picture anyway. But it ruined like if you've worked for so long on something and you want people to kind of take it in and enjoy it a certain way, but it's like basically dumping plot spoilers type thing, is that and
because that's one of the things that people forget about Apex as well is they've got this really intricate and really interesting story tied into a battle royale. Like, I mean, you don't need a story, and you just drop people off into a world, and they're just going to shoot at each other until there's one team left. Like, but they've crafted and they've really used like the Titanfall universe and just built upon it and built all these characters in, and there's all these like interesting relationships and like the cutscenes they do not the cutscenes, the trailers and stuff. They're phenomenal. So there's so much love and work put into it. But like, I'm just like, because Apex is no stranger to leaks, so they get leaks all the time. Like we know, like the heirlooms are like the big flex stuff in the games. If you get an heirloom, it's pretty rare. But each character is going to be getting an heirloom, which is a weapon that's like
The main weapon.
personal to them. It's got a story. Yeah, it's like a main kind of story thing to them. Like Mirage is a trophy, a gold trophy of himself because it's Mirage. Of course it is. I love Mirage, but like it's things like that. So we know like the next heirloom because that's been leaked and we've seen all the things. And like normally when a season gets announced, a lot of things get leaked anyway. But this is quite a scale that is like, this feels a bit bad, man. It feels a bit bad. It's cool, and I just corrected just to correct myself. It's 1, 2, 9 characters that have been that have been revealed with their like classes and all that stuff and the weapons and stuff. But like you said, though, things can change. I'm guessing all this isn't set in stone. But when it takes a lot of the wind out of their sails. I think it's not a nice thing.
Yeah, and the question is then whether they'll be like, right, we still have to carry on with this, or whether they're now under pressure to do a whole different thing just to make sure it doesn't match the leaks, or to provide some more elements of surprise or whatever.
But I suppose it depends on how many of these characters have all been. I've got to preface that I'm not 100% clued up on the Apex lore and the stories. I do watch it now and again and watch the things now. But how many of these characters have already been like either hinted at or already set in that universe, ready to come into the games? So it's as a gamer, as a sole player, you're like, yes, we know what's. This is sick, cool, amazing. But then, as someone that thinks a bit more about the actual people making it, it's not nice.
I think leaks kind of kill the hype though, because like like say because obviously, and even if it's like 2 months down the line, do you know what I mean? If there's it kind of because it's just such a here it is. There's no like tease for it.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So I
but
don't. Sorry, go on.
no. You go on. I was going into it.
I was going to say, like with Apex, I would like to see like Easter eggs in the game and stuff for all
Yeah,
these.
that's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
yeah.
So,
That's what it is.
like I would like to go. Oh, that I haven't seen that before. That's a bit odd.
Yeah.
Why? Do you know what I mean? And it kind of gets that fan theory in your head then as well. And it's
Yeah.
like it's
They're
like
very, very good at that. They're very good at that. Like there's like little places you can go and you can hear voice lines and stuff, and just to drop little hints to what's coming. And they're very good at that. But yeah, I agree. It does kind of kill the hype. But for a game like this that is a live service, it's also reassuring to players. In a sense that they're not just going to drop it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because live service, there's no guarantee that it's going to keep going. I suppose it's until it stops making money. But like, yeah, you know what I mean. In a weird, twisted sense, it's a reassurance. But like, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
it's just one of those. It's those like, it's just. It's exciting to see all this stuff, but at the same time, you're a bit like, oh man, it's a bit. Come on, just leak a character. Come on, just you didn't have to drop it all. You could have just leaked one character, and people would have been like, "Oh, let's go." But yeah,
there's always that. I think leaks are definitely a mixed bag because you get like that sort of thing of like you find out lots of stuff that's coming up that you might not have known about, and then at the same time, it can make the devs more tight-lipped. I mean, one of the things, just thinking kind of from like there's been rumors and there's been several leaks which have said that we're going to get a Resident Evil 4 remake, and it's all this sort of stuff has been pretty much to the point where even a lot of game journalists think of it as pretty much confirmed, but Capcom have not said anything at all about it at this point, and then like staying very close. If they're doing it, they're keeping very tight-lipped about it. And whether like that's going to stay even longer because it's come out already, it's just like, well, we need it to die down to be able to generate excitement again. But I mean, obviously, as you say, coming back to the other side of it, which is like the effect it has on the people who've been doing all this work, and then whether it kind of creates more work for them or creates more problems, or even just kind of deflates them after like this sense of achievement and accomplishment from doing a lot of that stuff. Kind of brings us on to the other kind of big topic around that's come around. Well, I say come around. There's always something to do with like working conditions in the game industry and stuff. But the two big ones, like there's been. I'm not sure how recent. There was some comments when we talked about The Witcher before. Like there was mention about like the new guys and sort of CD Projekt Red were saying about no longer being any crunch in the game. And then there's also been, it's a few years old, but there was a report, well not a report, a like survey on a Japanese forum for like workers about job satisfaction in FromSoft, where they like reported like a lot of dissatisfaction with a lot of the conditions, particularly I think with hours and all this sort of stuff. So a lot of all this is circulating around again.
Yeah, it comes back a lot throughout the year, which is good because it brings that stuff to light, which is quite sad about the FromSoft thing. It is really sad because what they've created is impeccable, but working conditions should be better. Like, I mean, it's silly that we have to say it. To be fair, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I mean, there's always a thing. I mean, like it's not like the gaming. Although there's lots of stuff which is obviously really bad and like particularly kind of bad treatment, particularly when we talk about like things like harassment and all that sort of stuff that's come up. But even things like crunch, it's none of it's good. But at the same time, seems like obviously the game industry isn't like uniquely bad compared to any other. It's not like everywhere else is employment paradise, and the game industry is like uniquely awful. Like there's obviously awful employers everywhere, but it seems to be harder to talk about because whereas if you like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, for example, that doesn't necessarily mean you have any particular attachment to Disney as a company. Like you're not going to defend them for like whatever things they do. But in the game industry, there's a lot of that. Like people form attachments with the company themselves, and then if this stuff comes out, they find excuses and racks because it's a lot of people almost see it as like, you know, you like this game, but the devs who made it went through whatever particular thing it was, whether it was crunch, whether it was sexual harassment, and rather than seeing it as like, well, actually, yeah, people who made the thing I love should be treated better, they see it as you're criticizing the company that made the thing I love, therefore you must be wrong somehow, or it's and it.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you get
Yeah.
that.
There's a lot of that in the gaming industry.
Yeah, it's this really weird thing where like individual names almost don't count in a way unless they've got a rep. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, oh fucking hell, my head. Japanese guy made Silent Hill. It's gone.
Oh, Hideo Kojima.
Kojima, yeah. Like people will attach themselves to him because he's like a he's a icon within the gaming industry. Do you know what I mean? People will like back him up and stuff. Whereas like I don't know, someone from a lead dev at CDPR, like I doubt anyone would be able to name him. Do you know what I mean?
It's strange, like because obviously better working conditions would lead to better games. You think, right?
Yeah.
People are more happy, therefore they're going to put more into it. But people are like, no, you've just insulted the person that I like. How dare you? Just I don't know. There's a real issue with like, and I know I jest on the whole PlayStation thing because it's funny to me. Like it is funny, but like the whole like
he's 100%
fanboy. Yeah, the whole fan. I mean, I'm sat here. There's a PlayStation on my desk. You know, a fanboy culture that just needs to go. It needs to be just shot down and just it needs to go so we can start speaking about like these serious issues. You know.
Yeah, I think like it's weird because like a lot of people don't see it as like they're trying to protect. I think it's like a moral thing. It's like I bought this game, I've invested my time into it, I'm playing it and I enjoy it, and I've related to that game now. Do you know what I mean? And it's like I'm picking it up, but I can't announce like it's like by playing that game, you have to defend that game in order to justify to yourself, and you don't.
No.
I think you can say something is a great product, but the way in which it was made was bad. Like,
of course. Like, no, you're right, because I absolutely love and adore Elden Ring. I think it's absolutely incredible. And I think it genuinely is made with love. It is a game that's been just so well crafted. But they should have better conditions. Like it's there we go. Do you know what I mean? Like
and it makes no sense because like the other thing is the same motive that leads to say like things like crunch also lead to incomplete games being released at launch and bad games at launch. So like why would you fight for
CD
it?
Projekt Red?
Yeah, why would you? I just don't get how you can just go nah, it didn't happen, but yet you got a crap product at the beginning. Like,
I think as well there is a bit of a culture like of accepting that games come out with a lot of issues, therefore the first patch is going to fix things. You know what I mean? There's a big acceptance of that. I don't think we should be as accepting as we are.
No, we shouldn't.
But then like it is that whole like stuff's going to slip through. It's going to happen. Stuff's going to slip through. I mean, look at Elden Ring. There were things that were very broken in it, not like game breaking, but like overpowered. Like some of the weapons and stuff were overpowered, and they were like, "Okay, well, we missed this. Let's just nerf them a little bit and bring them back to think that's fine." You know what I mean? But you know, if you're crunching your devs and games are coming out broken, and then fans are like, well, we'll just wait for the first patch because that'll fix it. You know, like Do you know what I mean? It's not good. It's not a good thing. Like I think this first patch acceptance thing is a bit dumb.
I think it's a case of like holding the thing accountable and going, right, okay, okay, you're giving us this first patch now, but it's still not acceptable. But I'm going to carry on playing that game because
of
I do
course,
want to
enjoy your
enjoy it.
games.
Yeah, like
enjoy
you're allowed.
your games.
And I think, I think a lot of people kind of do this out of thing of I shouldn't be enjoying this because of this, and
Yeah.
There's definitely a culture as well, like where it can the criticism of like someone who's created something is conflated with criticism of the creation itself, and that's not always necessarily true. I mean, people obviously deal with these things in a different way because people do get attached to whether it's games or books or films or people get attached to them because they have meaning to them in different ways, and that's entirely legitimate. And then, but it's then if like the person behind it turns out to have done whatever the case may be, whether it's the developers making it have been treated badly by their employer, or on the other side of things, with like movies or books, like the person who created your stuff is J.K. Rowling or whatever else.
I was gonna bring that up actually. I was gonna jump in with J.K. Rowling on that point because that's an interesting one to talk about. Because I think even the Harry Potter community has just gone, nah, we don't. Bye, you're out. We're still gonna love this thing, but you're gone. Goodbye. And like, I kind of feel for those devs making that game, man, because she just keeps spouting utter shit. You know, and it's just like, it must just be like, give us a break until it's at least released. Because it looks good.
Yeah,
it looks so good.
It's like that. Like if you like, they're looking at it and they're not going right. We must defend this awful thing at all costs, like that she said or whatever, because otherwise we can't like the game. It's like, right, we need to. This is a separate thing. We need to find a way we can without that infringing on it. And it's the same thing as like
that.
Yeah,
that's a good way to refer to J.K. Rowling. Actually, that.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be pretty unapologetic. As someone, she's drifting more and more towards like extreme far right things.
No, I back it 100%. Like it just,
but it's the same as like if you crit, like there was always the thing was that like criticizing a piece of art or a piece of media doesn't necessarily mean you think it's terrible and it needs to be thrown in the bin. It could just be like because criticism like doesn't. That's part of how we discuss things and how we take what meaning from them and look at these different things and look at the context of when they were written and all these sorts of stuff. And it's just become like, it feels like it's become harder. And you've either got to 100% like a thing to the death, you'll fall in a pit, die for it, or you hate it as the worst thing ever and burn it all. It's like, well, hold on, things can be good and flawed. Things can be bad.
I mean, look at bad,
still
good
enjoyable
movies.
And yeah.
Some rubbish films, but there's some amazing rubbish films out there.
Yeah.
It's all up to everyone's taste, and it's something that when I was younger, when I 14, 15, that you like that thing, that's it's such a childish mentality. And now, as soon as someone speaks, even if I don't like something, as soon as someone speaks to me about something, you can tell I love it. I love listening to people that just talk about things that they absolutely adore, because it's just so like, oh man, you got a thing, that's awesome, and it's such a childish thing.
Yeah,
such a childish thing.
Yeah,
I think it's one of those things as well. It's if you're talking about something that you love, then talking about things that are wrong with it or critiquing it or whatever is more meaningful than if you don't like it, because then you just like, if I love something, I'll analyze it in depth. I'll look at it more, and look at these things, and like there will be things like where it's like, oh, this is like shouldn't really have done this, or I think this could have been done better or whatever. Whereas if I don't like something, my main thing will just be, I don't like that. Right, moving on. I won't criticize it in depth because I don't care enough about.
Yeah. No,
I think
100%.
the issue is those negative criticisms, which are all valid and that you need to speak about, and that's how things get better, is if you're speaking about the negatives and the positives. But those negative, I lost the word now. Those negative things are just weaponized by the people that hate it. They're just weaponized and just turned into these, oh, you like this? Well, did you know that actually this is this? And it's just like, oh, yeah, I know. I love it. Like, I've seen it. I've played it. Do you know? Yeah. And there's just this, throw things at them until, just shout about the negatives enough and people shut up.
It's always going to be like, pick two sides in a war rather than actually just look at things as products that, whether they're good or bad, whether you personally like them or not, they're everything's flawed, everything's a product of its time, everything's this, and you can look at it that way rather than just pick up the pitchforks and just start yelling at each other.
It takes a lot to step back and just form your own opinion.
Yeah,
a lot to step back, and just
and then that loses things in the middle, like the idea that actually people should be treated better. Well, people should be treated better in general. It's kind of sad that that's a somewhat controversial statement these days. But yeah.
Sorry,
people should not be. No, I'm not going to say it because you'll clip it out of context and then you'll put it up as a media thing. No, I don't trust Lloyd. I don't trust him at all. No, gonna make a joke.
It's just I just don't like. Yeah, if someone comes out and is like, "Yo, I'm being treated badly," I don't know why they're suddenly from London. Yo,
what's happening, man?
I'm like, they're like, yeah. So I'm being treated badly at my work. Just listen to them, man. It's not and then take it. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to stop everything you're doing because, do you know what I mean? And I don't know. It's just. It's just tiring now.
It does, don't it? It ties back to what Phil said at the beginning. It ties back to people hearing negative things about something they love and taking it as a personal attack.
It's not.
Because that thing's not your personality. It's not you.
Oh.
So it's not an attack on you. It's just a negative thing about the game. You know?
Like you liking Harry Potter isn't going to stop J.K. Rowling being a alleged dick. Do you know what I mean? I'm saying alleged, she tweeted, but
wait, what did you say? I thought you said alleged dick. I was like, wait, what?
She's so much of a dickhead that she's proceeded to legend status.
Damn.
But that's it. You can I mean, the only people that I won't give license to like Harry Potter, and I'll say you're not allowed to like it, are the people who use it as an allegory for every situation in the world ever. They've never read another book, and therefore every war, every political situation is Harry Potter. Those people, you're not allowed to like it or read it. Stop.
Wait, what? People do what?
What side of TikTok have you been on?
Wait,
this is on Twitter, particularly high profile, usually quite liberal politics people, celebrities in particular, like Donald Trump's like Voldemort and all this sort of stuff. It's like,
okay.
Pick another book. Read another book.
No! At least Voldemort had a good line. I'm a good hammer!
But I mean, that obviously was slightly tongue in cheek, but yeah, other than using it as an excuse to not read anything else and to have really bad political analogies, enjoy what you like. And I
really want to reread the Harry Potter books now. You've done it to me, Phil. Why?
Why? The last couple are hefty.
They're hefty, but the first, I don't know. There's something nice about the first three that just.
I was gonna say the first three,
but a nice cuddle up, you know.
Yeah, Prisoner of Azkaban's probably my favorite.
I did watch a quite in-depth YouTube video analyzing the books not too long ago, and talking about how. Basically, how messed up a lot of the story is, like the fact that there's no good or bad actions. There's only good or bad people. So whether something's good or bad depends who does it. There's never any systemic change. It's always individual change. They basically never get rid of the slavery in the world because it's fine because the slaves like it, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, we studied this in uni actually. Well, we analyzed it in uni, and like I've read it a couple of times, and unless I'm deep diving to stuff, I'm very oblivious to things. And then when we started studying, I was like, oh yeah, okay, okay, this is a thing. Damn.
Yeah, but
So yeah, that opened my eyes.
To try and bring this back to video games and like the working conditions in
Oh,
video
well,
games.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, I was going to say
Podcast now,
that
stop.
one remark. It took me off by surprise. I was like, Jesus, Phil.
But I think like the point, like even like the first time I read them, and I'd gone in with all sorts of preconception like before that because I was like, you know, late teens or whatever it was. That was just like too cool for anything like Harry Potter. And then I read them, and I actually did enjoy them the first time I read them through. And I think that kind of brings back to the point is like, not, you know, the fact that there is like deeper readings of stuff and things might be good or bad in that sort of way doesn't preclude you from like just not making those deeper connections and just enjoying something. And like what, you know, if you enjoy Elden Ring, it doesn't mean that you advocate for workers to be treated poorly or whatever else it might be. And those two things can exist. You can enjoy the games, and then you want the people to make them to be treated. You want, you know, to see a greater spread of unionization in the gaming industry and all this sort of stuff. So I managed to bring it back in the end. We're back on track.
I've just got one more.
Go on, I want to hear the tangent.
Right,
please.
okay. I was going to say, right, with Cyberpunk, right, if you advocate for, like, this just came to my head, right, but if you advocate for the crunch and the poor release date, you're not in love with the game that's come out, you're in love with the idea of what that game could have been. Because, you know, you're, like, do you know what I mean? Like, and you're I think just deep dive.
Slam a book down. Slam a book down.
Just there we go. Like, but like, do you know what I mean? It's just like you're not. How can you be in love with something that they haven't given you? Do you know what I mean? So like, you're in love with the idea that they've sold you, and they haven't given it to you. So like, just take it on the chin and go. Do you know what?
Then again,
well, they didn't release.
You say that there are still working class people to vote for the Tories, so.
Fucking hell, this got political, mate.
My channels. That might be a whole separate podcast in itself if we get started.
Yeah, let's not get political. I'm sorry.
It's a bit harsh at the moment. It's a bit rough.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, and coming on to like the next kind of thing we were to talk about is, I think, mention that, like, basically, yeah. Game developers, the people who develop games and make games, are real people, real human beings with lives and families, and they deserve to be treated well. I know, really? Shocking. The companies that make them, corporations are not your friends. No matter what that corporation makes, they face this thing. They're not. So yeah, side with enjoy games, support devs. Don't think the companies are your friends.
You're lying, because Kinder are my friends because they make happy hippos. Okay.
But,
and happy hippos are fun.
A
sign of friendship.
Now, come on.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But that kind of brings us on as well, because the other side of it, which again I don't think we really see in any other industry, like with people cheering on corporate mergers and corporate acquisitions as much as we do in the gaming industry, especially if you're a console warrior fan or whatever. But
I love this.
the latest one we got is Haven Studios, who are a relatively new company, I believe, as far as I don't think they've actually finished an IP yet, but they've just been bought by PlayStation. So that's like one of the newest things. Again, obviously not going to be there, like yay for mergers. But from what I've seen, the thing that they're working on is some sort of live service multiplayer type game, which again is something that PlayStation traditionally hasn't got too strong a hand in at the moment, or at least
one other reason they bought Bungie is they wanted more live service multiplayer. Wasn't that part of that? So this is just going along with their their game plan. I don't think it's called a game plan, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I'm just trying to let's get up the. I'm assuming this because it's been really hard to find any too much concrete information about Haven. So just see what they've said. Formation of Haven. Oh yeah, so Haven Studios were only formed in 2021, so they're very very young. And basically, like their first pitch has been for Sony, and then they bought them anyway. So they kind of pretty much starting off from scratch. I'm just trying to see if there's any more detail about what exactly it is that they're creating, what type of game. No, I'm sure. I was sure I read somewhere about it, some sort of multiplayer or live service or something along those lines. But
it
I
says
may be
here.
making that up.
It says here, from their first pitch, we were inspired by Haven's vision for creating a modern multiplayer experience that brings gamers together in positive and meaningful ways.
There we go. I knew I hadn't made up reading that.
You're not going nuts yet, Phil.
Is a battle royale a positive and meaningful way?
No, because everyone screams at each other.
Wait, what?
Because everyone screams at each other. No, is that? I don't know. It can be positive if you're screaming positive messages.
Yeah, just you're amazing.
I'm so glad we worked well together then.
My lord, you died, but you played amazing.
I play so many multiplayer games, you could just tell.
Yeah, no, it's really not like that. Like, it's really not like that. I don't think I've been called a nice thing online since I don't know.
You do run off a lot though, so that's probably why.
I'm aggressive, okay? Let me be aggressive. Just let me do my thing, and I'm happy.
That's like we're in a chat though, like talking about anything, and you just all of a sudden just start shouting obscenities. It's like, oh, what the
I do trail off. Like before the podcast. Before the podcast, we were getting like the news bits together, and I was just playing Aim Labs on the side, and I was just zoned right out until someone said my name, and I just kind of like back into reality. I was like, wait, where am I? What's going on? Yeah, it's me. So, I like tangents. I like going off on my own, you know.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the fact that they're going more into the multiplayer space, because we got the Bungie acquisition. Naughty Dog are working on the multiplayer Last of Us game. Got Haven Studios now, and there was possibly something else multiplayer related, but this is something I think at least since the days of the PS3, it's been since we've seen so much PlayStation multiplayer focus from PlayStation on multiplayer stuff.
It's where I suppose is where the money is right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say
where the money is.
I've got a feeling it is live service because just reading through this now, it says they've got a vision to build a evolving world focused on freedom, thrill, and playfulness that will keep players entertained and engaged for years. So I think that's
that's live service.
Yeah.
Either that or it's going to be season pass generated. Which is that like live service though?
Kind of.
Oh god,
kind of, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say it is. If it's given like new maps and stuff,
it's constantly being updated.
Yeah,
I suppose it's that roguelike thing again, where we'd have to look into an actual definition. And,
I think if they continually updating this live service,
that's fair. That's fair. I mean, we all kind of laughed at live services a bit, like, oh, everyone's saying live service. This is it was mostly Ubisoft being like, oh, this is live service. This is live, and everyone getting annoyed with it. But they're the most popular games. They're the most that might be an overstretch actually, but they're some of the most profitable games right now. You know, because I suppose if you're launching constantly updated, you're launching like your Warzones, your Apex, your Fortnites, and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah. So I think the big question on whether this is a good move or not, whether like seeing more move from PlayStation into multiplayer is whether it results in more varied multiplayer experiences, more variety, more new original content, or whether it just results in more of the same. Because there's always the risk of that, isn't there? Particularly like if everything becomes
there is
a bit samey. So be interesting to see which direction we go in. And again, as someone who doesn't really play multiplayer too much, I am off. There are some that are like quite intriguing. Like I played a little bit of that Ghost of Tsushima one. I forget what the specific thing. The multiplayer of that though. That was quite intriguing because they like playing with like other people online, but it was like still you're working in co-op with them, and it's still telling the story, and you're going through and playing a campaign that way. So it's kind of almost like the best of both worlds.
Yeah. No, it's cool. Yeah. I'm not sure how much the multiplayer thing needs shaking up, though. So, I suppose the battle royale scene might need a bit of, but
I think it's just whether there's different, whether like if you go into multiplayer and the only thing you can do is the same type of shooter as every other one. If they're all every single one's the same, why bother having different ones? But then if they're all different types of game, from first person to third person, from shooters to battle royales to co-op to whatever else, gives plenty more choice in the same way as single player games. So
no, it's cool. It's cool. I'm not sure how many news articles we've got left, but I do want to chip in.
There's only two like topics we've got to cover, and they're quite relatively short. So feel free to fire something in.
It's a nice story. Is that all? It's a good story. It's the Fortnite has raised 50 million for UK relief in 3 days.
Nice.
50 million US dollars in 3 days. But that's like worth of Fortnite profits. How much can that actually make? Like that's 50 mil in 3 days.
Yeah, it could. That's an insane amount of money.
Yeah, but that game probably makes like in the space of a month. Then it'd be billions, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be millions. It'd be billions.
It's silly. Sorry, I turned that story into something thing, but no, it's nice. There's a couple of other things like Xbox have waived its standard platform fees, meaning even more money going to. I guess it's the fees from like Fortnite that it take from Fortnite thing. I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah.
But it's it's nice to see the gaming industry like helping out and stuff. And you have obviously the Humble. Is it Humble Bundle that did their bundle for Ukraine? I think it's Humble. It's one of those bundles. They're doing stuff for Ukraine relief.
Smashed it, didn't it? By I think it raised like 5 million, something like that.
Yes, it's nice to see them. Stuff like that happening. So yeah, I just thought I'd bring a nice story in to round this into the next two. But yeah.
No, it is always good, and I'm resisting the temptation to be really cynical and say, "Well, it's good. It's a shame they didn't do it for Yemen or Syria or Palestine."
Yeah, 100%.
Of course, 100%.
It is a positive thing. I think.
But hopefully, this starts it for them and other countries, and
I mean, it might even just show them how much power they have. I mean, I suppose 50 mil's not a loss for Fortnite, is it? Do you know what I mean? It's not like they're losing much.
No. That, like I say, that definitely like it's they're worth, and their money's measured in billions, not millions. So.
Yep. Epic are doing things with that game. That's like got to be the biggest gaming turnaround in history. That's got to be. What's the base game that come out was awful.
Yeah. So there's some. We may as well ask now since you brought that up, because as someone who's not really played it other than like getting confused for 20 minutes and then giving up. This stuff about no building and things that's come out recently, what's all that mean? Is that
you can't build? So Fortnite, each battle royale kind of has its own thing. You know, Apex has the different abilities for the different heroes. Call of Duty is Call of Duty. It's COD. You know, people are gonna love COD. But Fortnite's big thing is its building. Like, I'm sure when you shot at someone, you saw someone erect a skyscraper that, the size of the sky limit and shoot you from it within a couple of seconds. It's all about building, and it's all about these build battles that if you ever watch both some of the most impressive and confusing things you will ever watch in your life. It is boggling, but their hands must be just pure muscle, not an inch of fat anywhere. Because the big thing is building, and it puts a lot of players off, I think, as well, which is strange because it's one of the biggest. I'd imagine it's one of the biggest player-based games. You know, it's top of most lists constantly. But yeah, they're doing like is it a few days or a week or so of just you're not allowed to build. It's just run and gunning, which is fun. It's interesting. It's a nice little twist up, you know. So it just takes that level out.
Well, thank you for explaining. I feel like again, this is just me constantly having boomer moments, having to ask these things.
It's the skill ceiling in a battle royale and a shooter is already very high, but if you introduce the building as well, the skill ceiling is like infinite because I don't know if infinite's the right word, but it's
you can sort of do all sorts of
it's really hard to pinpoint how good a player is. You know, their skill might be so much higher than yours, but then when you put into that thing, it's still a very high skill ceiling, but it's just that it lowers the skill ceiling for a week or two, I think. Or it might make it even harder. I don't know. It genuinely might. You can't resort on the things that you would once you get into an engagement. You've got to just fight.
Yeah, I think it'll attract a different audience.
Yeah. I think it'll help the player base as well, because if you're not relying on your building, you've got to rely on your shooting. So the player base's like skill in shooting will have to go up, and then introduce
and
that.
I think knowing the environment as well, because with the building, you can kind of make your environment suit you.
Yeah,
whereas
that's true.
Now you don't. You've got to rely on like the buildings and whatever else is around, and the bushes. No, the bushes. You could hide in the bushes. Remember that?
Yeah, you could turn into a bush at one point.
That was it. That was it.
Yeah, you can still do that. Like you'd be the last team alive when you all running around shooting at bushes trying to find the last guy hidden. Yeah,
the good old days when I attempted that.
I enjoyed Fortnite when I used to play it. It was good, man. I just couldn't. I couldn't. Once that building skill level ceiling just rose past me, I couldn't keep up. It was really hard to keep up. You have to practice your building and stuff, and it wasn't for me.
Well, so the next thing on in terms of big things happening recently is that on Tuesday, it was the 26th anniversary of Resident Evil, the original game from 1996.
Oh, that's a small game.
Oh yeah,
the small
the thing that like just this tiny game about walking around a house and there might have been zombies that just spawn this whole genre of survival horror games and completely change the gaming landscape forever.
26 years.
I wish I was that young.
I wish I was that young as well, man. It hurts. God, Rezi's got its whole life ahead of it.
I know.
We say it's 27 and 28-year-olds.
I just had to have acupuncture in my knees, so...
Damn, you're old, man. You're old.
Nice. I that was a lot of fun.
We've been all over the place this episode. I think we were just from like talking about unions to like working class Tories to acupuncture in your knees.
Yo, I thought, listen, that was quite a good comment from me. I don't get involved in stuff like that, and I thought that was a good comment. All right. I don't bother. I get annoyed and leave it to myself and just rant in my head. But that was a good comment. Okay,
I wasn't.
It might have been the
knocking it.
Dale comment of the year. Not gonna lie. We'll have to do an award ceremony at the end of the year and just be like the best one-handed comment and yeah. I'm voting that. I'm voting that. Okay, personally pushing that forwards.
How do you feel? Back onto the topic. How do you feel?
Yeah, sorry.
that Messi is turned 26, Phil?
Well, I mean, I suppose shameless plug. On my own YouTube channel, I did make a video about this, talking about the original game and its impact and everything. Like I got into the series through Resident Evil 2, which came out in 1998, because I think back in '96 I didn't have a PlayStation. So I played the second game, and that was like kind of what started me off. And then it was ages before I even attempted that very first game, and it was kind of very, even just the jump from 1 to 2, like just how clunky the controls felt in that first one. I mean, both hand controls and all this stuff, but the very first one obviously was made before the DualShock controller came out, so it's just like, it's very, very stiff controls. So that took me kind of. I've only ever completed the original game once, just because of like that. Whereas the remake, like they remade it in 2002, which is that on the same day that turned 20. And that's pretty much like the best as far as like that original sort of survival horror type game from Resident Evil. That one's the perfection of it, because it's got that same control and everything, but the atmosphere is so much better. The graphics from the GameCube obviously surpassed the PlayStation 1. All this sort of stuff, and like they updated a lot of the cheesy dialogue from the very first one, because in the first one, like there's so many awful lines. Like the most famous one is where if you're playing as Jill Valentine, you nearly get crushed by like a trap ceiling as another character, Barry, pulls you out. He goes, "That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich." And then you're right there.
Sorry, I just choked on the cheese.
And then there's a guy who's been bitten by like a gigantic snake, and he's lying on the floor dying, he goes, "This place is full of terrible demons. Ouch." And he literally says, "Ouch." There's a whole compilation.
That's realistic though. I do that loads.
Yeah, there's some absolutely awful dialogue in the first one and all sorts of stuff, but it's kind of famous for it, and it's like part of the fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously it's evolved a lot since then. And then the same guy who directed Resident Evil directed the remake, directed Dino Crisis, directed Resident Evil 4, directed The Evil Within, and his company is he's I think he's the CEO of Tango Gameworks, the ones who've released Ghostwire Tokyo.
Oh. Damn, just to throw a point in there, you just criticized something you loved and still love it. Oh,
imagine
that, guys.
We're planned. Everything's planned on this podcast.
Do you know what, guys? This is truly 2022.
We're
moving forward. We're well ahead of the game.
We're big brain.
Yeah.
Nah, that's a cool milestone.
I will say that one of the defining characteristics of the Resident Evil community is never being happy with what you're given. Particularly like after like the original games, like once the newer games, like after Resident Evil 4, and it started going more actiony, there's a whole subset of fans who were just like, this ruined the franchise. And then like until it went back with 7, there's people. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Mila Jovovich movies, but there's like every single adaptation, there's been a whole bunch of people, even before it's come out. Like there's a new one on Netflix soon, which is and already the only things we've seen is one small video of a zombie dog that lasted like a minute, and some posters and the cast. That's it. We've not seen any clips of it, and already people are going, "Oh, this looks terrible. This looks terrible." It's just like we're almost as bad as Doctor Who fans in that respect. We're never happy.
Well, it's not quite Star Wars level yet, though.
Nothing reaches that level.
I've dipped my toe into the Star Wars stuff. Whoa.
You'll burn your toe off, your tip of your toe if you
It's
dip in that pool.
bad.
Oh, it's we're gonna get attacked now.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
The prequels were amazing, alright?
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't even
sorry.
get me started on the Disney Plus things. It's bad. Oh,
Jeez. Let's not go into it. Let's not go into it.
Yeah,
Phil, happy birthday to your favourite thing.
yeah, happy birthday
Thank
for
you.
Tuesday. Belated
You know?
happy birthday.
Belated, yes. It's cool. It's a cool thing.
Yeah, but yeah, I think the only thing I'll say is if anyone who's listening or watching has not played, what better time than now while it's celebrating its 26th
26
birthday.
years young.
I mean, it's a relatively new game. Come on, what are you all doing?
It's not that old.
Jeez. Good God. Play it already so we can spoil it, you know?
The most iconic survival horror franchise there is, so play it. Play it.
What's Silent Hill? Oh, I saw the change in his face then. Oh my lord, did you see that? Oh, that was evil. Damn. Whew.
Phil literally
Sorry,
just did
Phil. It was a joke. It was a joke. I'm joking. Whew.
No, in all fairness, Silent Hill. For some reason, I've never got around to playing. Like, I've tried to play a lot of stuff like survival horror things that have come off from Resi, but for some reason, I never got survival horror. I never got Silent Hill
Survival horror
1, and I've never played any of them since. And now, like, to get Silent Hill 1, it's like 99 quid or something on like most eBay things, so it's just ridiculous. So
retro gamer, man.
I watched my dad play a bit of Silent Hill when I was a kid, and all I can remember from it was a scene in a toilet where he opens a door and it's just like full of just blood and guts and just like wires and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I might be a bit too young for this. Dad,
I'm gonna go and ground myself right now.
I'm gone. Can we go back to Tomb Raider and you just wow me with your ability to do handstands, which I cannot do? Please. Still never taught me how to do handstands.
You're never too young to get too acclimatized to just how horrendous and scary the world beyond is. You need to get used to it now. Because if you wait till you die and you go to hell, then it's too late.
No. I'll never be ready for that. I'll never. It's all rainbows out there. I love it.
Oh. Well, on that note, the only other thing that we got to talk about is I don't even know if this fully classes as news, but it's funny. Is Ninja once one of the largest? Well, I think he technically still is one of the largest streamers in the world, isn't he? But
fortunately, yeah,
given
can you play the clip as he says Ninja, please? The fuck do you say to me, you little shit? I quote that right at least 18 times a day. It is my favorite quote. Sorry, I interrupted the story then. Carry on.
So he's teamed up with Masterclass, which is this website which offers like paid course. Well, I say courses, like videos from whoever they deem as an expert in their field, talking about how they do the thing they do. I mean, you could judge
basically
the value.
YouTube.
Yeah, you could judge the value of it by the fact that they were paying. What's his face who wrote all the names go completely out of my head now. The Tom Hanks was in the film version of it. The museum guy who like uncovers all the conspiracies. Dan Brown. Dan Brown talking about writing out to write books.
National Treasures then, sorry.
No, that's good. National Treasure is good. But yeah,
I was sat there. I was like, I'm pretty sure Nicolas Cage is that. It's just...
I was like, Nicolas Cage is not Tom Hanks. Don't you start spouting stuff about Nicolas Cage? No, he's not just a national treasure. He's a worldwide treasure. Okay.
Yeah, no. There's no slight on Nicolas Cage whatsoever. But the Dan Brown who wrote all the I can't even remember what the books are called. I just remember that they're really bad. Because it's about like
I've seen them. I know what you're on about.
Angels and Demons.
It might be them.
So
that's the ones.
That's the caliber of thing we're dealing with. Masterclass thought If you want someone to teach you how to write books, yeah.
Google was my friend on that one. Okay.
Oh, you shouldn't have admitted that. Damn, you lay yourself down.
So Masterclass thought that Dan Brown is the guy to talk about how to write books, obviously. So that's the caliber when they decided Ninja can tell us how to do streaming. And
Up to see the trailer.
It says how you can become a top streamer in 30 days. But the way Masterclass works, you have to pay for a full year's course, so it costs you like $280 US or something ridiculous like that. To learn all these like secrets of the industry, which include things that you can watch for free on YouTube and really bad advice about following other streamers and getting them to follow you and shit. And calling out lurkers in your chats. So like if anyone's just watching, you have to say hello, speak to me now, and drive them away.
We've mentioned like people out of touch in this, like
Very out of touch.
Ninja is just.
Although I'm gonna pick up on that lurker thing. If I see any you two lurking in my chat, I'm gonna just start chatting to you as if you're there, and make you panic then, because you're gonna be doing something else lurking, and you're like, where's the chat? Where's the chat? I'm gonna do it. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'll ignore you more.
Yeah. I'll just post obscenities in the chat and just be like, "Fuck you."
That's fair.
Fuck you, Dale.
It's mostly my chat
like
anyway. It's mostly my chat.
Dog fiend.
No, I love my chat. I love my chat. Yeah, I've not seen much on it, but from what people are saying, it's very out of touch. It's very.
It's just.
Yeah.
It's a quick buck, you know.
100%. Like, do you know the minute I heard the word lucrative? Well, before that, but like when I heard lucrative, I was just like, yeah, he's definitely after a quick buck here.
Yeah.
Because, like, what's the chances of you like being honest? Like, do you know what I mean? Making the amount of money that he's made, it's just the chances.
I mean, even if you make it like partner and stuff, making that amount of money is very hard.
Like, I know partners that like they don't even make a living out of it. So
no, but it's still even if you make it in the eyes of Twitch, it's still very hard to be making. Well, maybe his past money, maybe not his money now. I don't think he's as. I don't know. I don't really watch him, but you know.
Yeah, but this is the thing, isn't it? Is like the obviously a lot of people more so now like interested in getting careers or like trying to like whether it's playing games or being involved in games and the whole sort of industry around it in some way. Obviously that includes us because we're out here making YouTube videos and podcasts. Go and listen to us about games. But then all these people who made it big in a different time because it was a lot easier to go massive if you like knew what you were doing 5 years ago or 10 years ago or whatever. And then like they've basically become like sort of a class on their own. Like they're all millionaires and they've all do these things, and then they just sort of see like, right, how many gullible rubes can I extract a book from? By like giving them this.
I think you see a lot of that as well in like the NFT and all that. I know we don't bring it up with Phil on the channel much because Phil has very strong opinions about it, but
I don't know.
We see that a lot. We see that a lot with influencers and stuff. I know, like, this is a really thing statement that I never thought I'd say. Which is the bad Paul brother now?
I thought they were both still pretty bad.
No, because I'm pretty sure the older one's kind of
Logan's the older one.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a redemption. He's kind of not being a dick and providing some like good content and stuff. Whereas his brother, I'm pretty sure if anyone's not watched CoffeeZilla, Phil, I recommend CoffeeZilla to you because you like all the NFT drama and stuff, and you don't like all that. But his thing is he exposes it all, and I'm sure there's like a big court case going down with a few things and that. But yeah, sorry, it's bringing on like I think when they're that big, a lot of them just feel they can use their fans, to just make a quick buck, and then forget the reason that they kind of went up into it. Forget like
They become out of touch.
Yeah, it is.
Definitely.
It's just out of touch. It's just
because it's like, I mean, even when I was still streaming on a regular, and I was definitely on the small end of small streamers. Like, if I got 10 average viewers, I was lucky type thing. And even then, you still get people pop in, and because they believe these things work and somehow will like make them famous, like go in and like come into your chat and say hi, and then 2 seconds later, oh, I've got to go because I'm just about to start streaming myself, as if like this sort of horde of people are come, and like it's all these sorts of people who are like just think by just turning on a computer and playing a game. That's all you need to do, and you'll be, and like that's the sort of person who he's kind of preying on, really, saying, "Pay this money, and I'll show you. I'll basically validate your theory that doing all these things wrong will work."
Yeah, I think again, it's the type of people you're on about as well. The people that think it is easy.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I never believed the streaming was easy in the slightest, but doing it just proves how hard it actually is.
I never realized, like, because like obviously I've kind of been on and off with streaming. I never realized how exhausting it was.
It's so tiring.
It's knackering. Like I've like, because obviously like even now I could probably stay up for like 18 hours, probably after about 6 million coffees. But like, do you know what I mean? And I could play a game easy, but it's like you're not, when you're just playing a game, like you're kind of, it's a different type of mental energy in a way, and it's more exhausting. Streaming for like 3-4 hours kills me.
Yeah, because if you're doing it,
knackering.
Yeah, because if you're doing it well, if you're doing it engaging, then you're not just playing the game. You're actually, the whole point of being a content creator is making content, which is like not just play. Yeah, unless you're a professional speedrunner or something, which I'm not. I can't play games well. I don't do any of that stuff. So it's all about like talking around it, finding good talking points, engaging with the audience, and all this. And even then, even if you're doing all that, there's like a whole barrel of people who are doing exactly the same thing, and there's all plenty of people who are doing more innovative things better than you, and sorts of stuff like that. So,
and then there's different personalities on top of that. Like I'm a lot more quieter than like Dale, for example. Like I'm Dale. I am.
I'm a quiet person. What do you mean?
You can like you just say everything, don't you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas I'm a lot more like So it's like, and I think because this worked for Ninja, who has arguably like come up with this like persona and personality and stuff, it's going to be different for like, do you know what I mean? I
think we're forgetting as well that Ninja come up through the esports stuff as well.
Yeah.
So he had that viewership. I'm not sure. Was it CS? Wait, what's it? Ninja esports. I know he played obviously Fortnite, but
oh, it's all right because his masterclass includes a 20-minute video on gaming tips, which obviously covers every possible game you can play and how to do it well in 20 minutes.
I think the point I was trying to get at was like, he's coming across as there's this like one route to like make it, and you got to pay this money for me, and I will make you successful. Whereas this, like, that's not the case.
Sorry, just to clarify the point, it was H1Z1 that he competed in. It was Summit that I was thinking of. There was a CS:GO competitor. Sorry, I just wanted to clarify that point.
That's okay. But yeah, it's kind of, he's kind of going, right, okay, pay me. I've got the answers for you, but it's not the case. Like you kind of got to figure out who you are as well.
Yeah, and there's
I'm not got the answers, but
yeah, there's plenty of people who'll give like, I mean, and even like the ones who are good, they'll say they don't have all the answers. You've got to find your own niche, you've got to find your own personality and all this sort of stuff. But like, you don't have to pay that money. You can go to YouTube, you can watch like Stream Scheme with LJ only. Like there's like Epos Fox who does all the tech stuff, and a bunch of others.
There's loads of people that are built careers on
lists. Yeah. And they're doing it like they get paid through YouTube ads or through Patreon if they got supporters, but they don't hide it all behind and say like, "Give me $280 and I will."
And I've got the answers.
Feed you bullshit.
Yeah, and like the reality is, like sometimes their tips aren't going to work because they're doing a different thing, and
yep.
So, but It's very predatory. I think these sort of things.
Yeah,
I just
I
don't
mean-
like.
Then so is the gaming industry. You know.
Yeah. Of course.
So I
But
won't
we're
go
calling
on
out.
with
We're calling out a specific. We're calling
Sorry.
out criticism. I love the games industry, and I'm criticizing it. Like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, there we go.
that. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I mean?
See, I was going to come in then and say, like, the other thing, although I don't know too much about it, it kind of looks and feels a bit predatory on streamers in the same way as Ninja stuff. It is, I don't know if you've seen the app Hover. And like the
Yeah.
But again, because I don't know too much about it, I was kind of restraining myself because the one thing I do know is that when people have criticised it, like on Twitter and elsewhere, then people who are like ambassadors for it have come along and been massively abusive to people. So, I mean, they can try with me on Twitter. I don't care. Come at me. But yeah, I didn't.
Hell, that's an
necessarily
argument.
want
To be fair.
Just leave me alone on Twitter. I can't be bothered.
Yeah,
I won't reply to you if you get angry with me. I can't be asked.
yeah. No. Direct all your criticism to me, at Captain Squigs.
Do it. I listen. I'll farm the engagements. I don't care. Screw it. I go in farming on Twitter.
But yeah, so I mean that's kind of it's kind of a weird note to end on, with all that, because it's not exactly a positive, really good topic, but obviously it is something that's going on, so it's kind of an interesting thing. But before we kind of wrap up, is there any either other items or final thoughts from either of you?
No, I don't think so.
No.
No. Just
Nope.
play your games and
Play games. Be happy.
be happy, man. Come on.
Play games with a smile on your face.
There's enough sadness in the world. Stop screaming at each other about different things in gaming, man.
Yeah.
It's boring.
Be happy, play games, play Resident Evil.
Yeah.
This is 26 years old.
And drink water. Stay
Yeah,
hydrated.
drink water. Whoa, all right, Cristiano Ronaldo down there.
Oh,
Jeez.
and get a notepad.
And throw it when you make a good point. Throw it on the
Yeah,
table.
yeah.
That's what it's for. Leave it empty.
Actually, I don't condone throwing. I'm throwing all the memes out. I'm throwing all the jokes out now. I don't condone throwing your notepad on the desk. That was once a tree. Okay, they were both trees actually. Sorry, yep, that's it. That's me.
Yeah. So I'm not sure where we started. I'm not sure where we ended. This has all been very weird. But thank you very much for watching and for listening. As ever, we've been UnCapt. You can find us on all the social medias at UnCapt Gaming. And don't forget to check out YouTube in particular, not only because we post more stuff on there, including videos, but also because that's where you can win tickets to W.A.S.D if you haven't entered already. Time is running out. Tick, tock. And yeah,
Tick, 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 tick.
we will see everyone next time.
Wow. Bye. Bye. I'll miss you all.
Bye-bye.
miss you.
Have a
Bye.
beautiful time.
I didn't sing a new song. Bye.
Yes, there wasn't any news. It was all news.
We are the
Bye-bye.
news.